Hey everybody, Jem Schofield here with the C47 and another episode of Gearbox. Back in the Batcave for a little while, back from NAB, back from San Francisco, and just about to start about a month and a half long production project, which I'm really excited about. I'll tell you more about that as we're doing it because we're going to be in lots of different locations, and I'm hopefully going to have time to do episodes of Gearbox from most of those so you guys can see what I'm up to. Taking a look at a lot of gear that we'll be using for the production, some of which will not necessarily be seen in the actual stuff that we're shooting, but I'm going to be talking about it here on Gearbox. Also, the Filmmakers Intensive coming up last week of July, first week of August, and there's a lot of interest. We were talking about it at NAB, and it's being co-produced by the C47 and Manhattan Edit Workshop. You probably know if you're on the site here that I do a lot of workshops in New York with Josh Apter, who owns Mew, or Manhattan Edit Workshop. So we're going to co-produce it because it's a perfect sort of marriage of production and post. And we are still securing a couple of extra instructors, but if you are at all interested in the program, because there's so much interest now, I recommend you go to the site. There's a link to it over there. You can go to thefilmmakersintensive.com and fill out the application. Filling out the application does not obligate you to the program. It's just so that you can give us some information. I can give you a call. We can talk a little bit about the program in depth, and then you can decide, we can decide if it's the right fit. And if it is, then you get invited to the program. So it's good stuff. A lot of people are looking at doing the program. We've had interest from all over the world, just like last year. And I have a feeling it's going to be a bigger program. It should be. And I'm really, really, really excited about it. So, I have, I think, one more episode from NAB on the showroom floor that I'm going to post at some point during this week, I think on a Kino Flow Lite, because it's going to be really busy. But today I'm going to talk to you about this stuff right here. I have the opportunity, fortunately, to work with a lot of very creative, very smart, and life-saving people, meaning that without them, the things that I do don't really happen. I may have the idea of what I want to do, but they help me realize that. And for a lot of us, I think that we know that things like C47s and gaff and, things like that, clamps, they have to be in a crate somewhere on every production. But this stuff is called paper tape. And if you're not familiar with it, it's essentially a lower tack version of gaff tape. It's thinner. And it's great when you walk into a space. For instance, when we did our shoot in LA, we had a white door and we had to open up the door so that we could actually bring lights in or hang lights from that door, and we could see through to the other room. And then we saw the hinges, those silver hinges on the door. Sometimes they're brass. So we used this because that was being thrown out of focus anyway to hide those so it wasn't distracting in frame. Same thing with black, and then you can get a lot of tapes in different colors. I actually thought, and this is where you always have to triple check the stuff that you pack, that I had some gray gaff tape on a recent production that I did for Canon at NAB. And we wound up having an electrical socket in the background, and it would have been perfect to just cut a piece of that gray tape because it would have been a lot less distracting. I had to handle that differently in post. There's a couple of different ways you can do it, but the way I did it is I'm posting the project at 720, and I'm basically just going in a little tighter into that shot so you don't see that in the background. And those things happen sometimes, and there are ways to handle it. But paper tape. So I'm going to put a link. I do recommend that along with your gaff and your spike tape that you have some of this stuff in your kit when you're doing a production. A lot of airplane activity today on this Sunday. And I'll be back, and I'll see you guys next time on Gearbox.